don't know if it's the angry black woman trope, but I think it's some sort of residual victimhood that brings in another personality that lacks rationality. I don't know if this explanation makes sense. The angry black person. This suggests that black people, especially black women, are irrationally angry, aggressive, or confrontational. What do you think?
Yes, I think it's very true. I've experienced it a few times myself. I feel like the crazy part of this is every time that I try to bring it up, like mostly with maybe someone that I'm dating, right? It's like, oh, we just go back and forth on. Usually we end up getting there, like with most, with a few of the African American women that I've dealt with, talking about like how we see each other or the sort of this subtle passive war that is going on between these two communities, right? And the very moment you are trying to say like, oh, this is what I've experienced. I know this has been something that people believe that is there, but I don't base my judgment on what is the mainstream idea or what is going on, right? So I try to make all my decisions or my conclusions on my experiences, right? And they jump immediately into that very mode that they are trying to debunk. So it's like this vicious cycle, right? Like you are trying to say like, oh, I've dealt with like a few people and I feel like, yeah, it's really there. And the moment that you say, yeah, you've experienced it, they just go off. I've never said like, oh, it's because of what I've said, what I've heard, or like what I think is there or whatever. But it's like, yeah, I have experienced it. And they just go off. And that for me is really always interesting because it's like, this is it, right? This is it. This is the time where you can convince me otherwise. And that's the very moment you are really still extending that. And I get it. It
Irrationally
can be,
being too aggressive.
yeah. I feel like it's challenging to have that kind of image. And I think it might do that to anyone to just be like, yeah, it, I'm just gonna be that, Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the issue with stereotypes, right? Because if you already have if you already have that label and now you're like, there's nothing that I do, you will still have this idea of me. Sometimes they then feel like, yeah, fuck it. If you say that's what I am, then that's what I am. And I think this is the area where even though stereotypes are information that might be based off some sort of majority or some sort of experience, it's important to always give each individual the benefit of the doubt, which I think is what you are doing by actually having that conversation openly with these people. So they have the benefit of the doubt, but they probably don't see it as that, because again, irrational aggressiveness. Unfortunately, personally, I've not had a lot of encounters with African Americans in the US, so I can't really say. However, I don't know if it's exactly angry black woman stereotype, but I find it somehow funny when I see sometimes how black women like to be victims in many scenarios, like African American women. For example, when you see a black man in the US with a white person, right? With a white woman. And then something goes wrong. Instead of focusing on what exactly went wrong, black women immediately personalize it and turn it into, that's what you get for dealing with women from another race or something like this. And I don't know if it's the angry black woman trope, but I think it's some sort of residual victimhood that brings in another personality that lacks rationality. I don't know if this explanation makes sense. Right? And I see it a lot. And for me, it feels like, nah, try to be rational, try to be logical, try to relax. Don't make everything about you. Don't take it too personal yet, This is something happening to someone else. If you want to make commentary about that, then try to be logical. But you see that all that is thrown out the window when they actually make their comments. And I'm like, I don't know what to say because I haven't had the experience. But if you're saying it, I know that you tend to be you tend to take your time to understand this thing. So if you are saying it, I will definitely have it at the back of my mind when I start to engage. Not that everyone won't have a benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah.
I will have it at the back of my mind.